So now we are in W05 and we are monitoring the failed inbound IDOCs. To find the root cause of the IDOC failure. So IDOC is received from external system. So what is the sender? How can you find the sender of this IDOC? Open one IDOC. Where can you find the sender and receiver details in the IDOC?
Control record.
Control record. Go to control record. Go to partner. So SAP A4H is the receiver and this is the sender. So this is the sender. We received this IDOC from this A0001 port and this is the receiver port. Okay. What is status 51? Status 51 means application document not posted. What do you mean by application document not posted? IDOC is received, but whatever the data in the IDOC is not posted to SAP, right? That is the status of this IDOC. Okay. Now we need to debug why this data is not posted to SAP, why data is not created to SAP. So there are two different ways. One way of doing it is generating the one more IDOC, one more test IDOC and debug it, or reprocess the current IDOC. Reprocessing the current IDOC. Take this IDOC number. First we'll try reprocessing, or maybe we'll try generating one more IDOC and debug. What is the transaction code to test the IDOC or generate the IDOC, test IDOC?
W19.
WE19.
Or BD87 is also, sir.
Yeah, I'll explain that. Okay. So that is to reprocess. BD87 is to reprocess the failed IDOC. Okay. So once the IDOC is in failed status, you can go to BD87 and you can try reprocessing it. And also at the same time, you can debug it. While reprocessing, you can keep a breakpoint in the IDOC function module, which is used to post the data, and you can debug it. But W19, it is to create a new IDOC, test IDOC and debug. So when you don't want to create one more new IDOC and you just want to debug with the help of the existing IDOC, you can just reprocess using BD87. But sometimes we can try changing the data to test it. In W19, what happens is you can changing the IDOC data also to test it. By providing new inputs or changing the existing data, you can test the IDOC to find what is the error, what is the data issue. Now, I've taken the existing IDOC in W19 transaction code. Click on execute. So this is the segment, right? This is the header segment and this is the child segment. This is the data. Double click on the segment or just select the segments. You can see the data available in that segments. For every IDOC, if it is an inbound IDOC, there should be a function module assigned to that message type with some business logic to post that data to SAP. Okay, we can keep a breakpoint in that function module to debug the IDOC. What that function module will do? That function module will read the data from IDOC and execute relevant functionality to create it in SAP. that might call BAPIS or some insert statements or anything. Okay, so this is the control record, and this is the sender, sorry, this is the receiver, and this is the sender. This is logical system name. This is also the logical system name. This is the port. What is the transaction code for port?
WE21.
WE21 is to create the port. So this is EDIDC means control record of the IDOC, sender and receiver details. And this is the segment. Segment contains the data. Bank country, CA, bank key, this one. So, so the advantage of W19 is you can change the data. You can change the data of the existing IDOC and you can regenerate. Okay, let's keep it as it is. Now, how you want to process the IDOC using standard inbound process or inbound function module? Click on inbound function module. This is standard inbound function module. Check the standard inbound. So when you go for inbound function module, right, you have a flexibility of selecting relevant function module. So it is generating the IDOC using standard inbound function module. System is slow, that's why it is taking time. So what is the standard function module it is using to generate the IDOC? This one, BAPI IDOC input 1. So by using this function module, it is trying to generate the IDOC. Select this function module, go to the other session, go to SC37, keep a breakpoint here, and click on continue. So it triggered the breakpoint at the IDOC. Now you need to debug this function module to check why it is not able to execute or it is not able to create data in SAP. Let's try create some breakpoint at errors. I'll create a breakpoint at error message. I'm not providing any specific details. So bank key, there is a issue with bank key. So it's saying bank key is not valid. What is the acceptable length? 9. But the length is 11. Where is that functionality? Here. Format check. There is a function call inside this BAPI calls, that is format check. Go to objects. So this is the function module that is raising the error somewhere in between the standard function modules or standard BAPI. This format check function module is being called to validate the length, right? So that's why it is failing. See, I did not debug everything, but you guys can debug step by step. Okay. Bank key check, where this format check function module is being called. I clicked on F7. So it returned back to the calling function module, bank key check. So this is the function module that is using to validate the bank key in the standard when it is posting the data. I'm pressing F7. Okay, what is the BAPI that is using to create the bank data? What is the BAPI that is using to create the bank data? BAPI bank create. So next time you can also keep a breakpoint here and generate the IDOC. It should stop. So this is the BAPI, right? So this is the BAPI that is using to create the bank data, but that is failing due to one error message. And where it is returning the error, let's see. If sub RC is not equal to 0, sub RC equal to 1, not valid, then what it is doing? Perform set return message. So it is setting the return message. What it is writing inside this? It is populating the message details and it is populating the return parameter, right? BAPI return parameter it is populating, correct? F8. So IDOC is generated. What is the IDOC number? 209052. Let's check that IDOC. What is the transaction code to check the IDOC status?
W05.
Go back. Since I know the IDOC number, I'll open that specific IDOC number by providing the IDOC number. I'll copy this IDOC. Direction is to, you have to select the relevant date and time. So this is the IDOC that is generated. With what is the status? Status 51. Application document not posted because of the BAPI function module error. So inside the standard IDOC, what is the BAPI that is being called for this bank create message type? So this bank create message type is used to create the bank data, bank master data. So this is the BAPI, right? Now let me keep a breakpoint in this function module. I'm removing here. I don't want to debug everything. I'm removing here. I will keep a breakpoint inside. bank create function module, bank create BAPI, because this is being called in that standard IDOC function module. Now let me go to what is the transaction code, W19. Let me generate again. Go back, take the IDOC, take one IDOC number and execute and use standard inbound, or you can also use inbound function module. Anyway, it will take the same function module name. Click on continue. No, so why it is populated here? This is not the one. This is the BAPI, right? This is not the IDOC function module. Inside the IDOC function module, this BAPI will be called, right? I think this one input. This is the function module for IDOC processing. Inside this function module, depends on the message type, the relevant IDOC function module will be called. Click on continue. So where it is stopped? BAPI function module, right? BAPI bank create. Now you can debug it. Where it is failing, why it is failing, you can debug this function module. Check bank address. So it is failing here. So this function call, right? And it will return the message that validation is failing in that BAPI function module, and you can correct the data. Now let's try correcting the data. Double click on the segment, uh, remove, for example, 3, one more, 9, right? 3, 3, 9, 9. Now it contains the 9 characters. Now continue. Now try to generate the IDOC. You can use standard inbound or standard inbound function module, but when you select the standard inbound function module, right, you need to select that function module. BAPI input. Continue. So what is the message here? Again, we have a different message here. Let's check what is the message. Looks like there is an issue with this number, bank number. Looks like it is not accepting the characters. Let's check the issue. Saved and processed, but let's check the IDOC status. Go back. That should be the next IDOC number, that is 53. It will, IDOCs will generate in sequence, please remember. What is the error now? What is the error now? IDOC passed to application. Still we have error. Let's try with only number. W19. I'm removing this. I'll use 1. Now let's check the status of the next IDOC generated, that is 54, or you can just select the date and time. So it will display all the IDOC generated in between the date and time. This is also failed. What is the status of this IDOC? Changed it, right? Why it is taking this? Am I looking at the correct IDOC? Let me check. Execute. Changed it. So it is validating the bank country and bank key here. Let's see what is failing. It is checking the bank key. Format check. It is checking the format here. Subars equal to 0, no issue. Format is correct. F7. What is subarc? Subarc is 0. BAPI bank create is this should be successful, or check the return message. BAPI should return the error message, right? Fill out all required fields. There is still some error. Some required value is missing. Let's check the IDOC. I think this is not the correct number what we generated. Go back, open again, W05, execute with the current IDOCs 952957. This should be the recent IDOC that is generated. Fill out all required fields. Some mandatory data is missing. So what is the mandatory data? Go and check the segments. Double click on this. Now bank key is correct, but some mandatory values are missing. Bank country and bank key. So what mandatory values are missing? Let's check. Take this IDOC number. So you have to debug like this one by one, and you have to sort out the issues. Okay, and you can once you debug this IDOC BAPI, right, you can find out what are the data you are missing in the IDOC, and you can ask the sender to populate that mandatory data. So here we are populating only bank country, bank key, but remaining fields are empty, like bank method, banking format, IBAN rules, B2P support, all these are empty. Looks like some of the mandatory field is missing here, and you need to debug to find what is the field that is missing. For that, keep a breakpoint in the BAPI and debug. Okay. So looks like a mandatory field is missing. That's why it is not able to create the bank data. So you need to debug that BAPI function module to find what is the value that is missing. That is the assignment for you. Okay. So take this IDOC number. Where is the IDOC? So assignment for you is you have to debug this IDOC and find out what is the mandatory data that is missing when it is creating the bank data. You need to debug that BAPI. Okay. And you should be able to find what is the value that is missing when creating the bank data and what is the value we need to populate in the IDOC to create the bank data. Okay, can you guys do that? I'll provide you the IDOC number, sample IDOC number. Use that IDOC number in W19. Keep a breakpoint in that relevant BAPI function module to create the bank, which is to create the bank and debug where it is failing. What is that mandatory data that is missing? Find out. Okay, because this is what we need to do in the projects most of the time, mostly in support projects, right? Is everyone okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll provide you the IDOC number and please debug the IDOC and find out the root cause of the error. Okay, this is about W19. You can regenerate and debug any IDOC or any message type, right? In the same process. Okay, or if you want to know what is the function module that is triggering for this message type, what you need to do in IDOC, you know what is the message type of this IDOC? What is the message type? Bank create, right? In info you can check the message type of the IDOC. Bank create is the IDOC. How can you know the function module configured for this message type? Simply go to partner profile. I'll show you some sample simple example. Click on this, click on some logical system, go to now we are uh, debugging the inbound scenario, right? So choose the relevant message type. Our current message type is bank create. Uh, if it is available here, we'll check. Otherwise, we'll see any other example. Let's say our message type is orders. Orders is our message type. Now, how can you find? Sorry, this is outbound, right? Go to inbound. Go to inbound. So, how can you find message type or function module available for this IDOC? Double click on the message type. For example, double click on this dir deb. Now what you can see here, this is the inbound partner profile. What you can see here, process code. Double click on the process code. If you double click on the process code, it will display the function module what is using this one, identification. Identification nothing but the function module which we are using to post the data to SAP. Double click on this. So this is the function module. You can keep a breakpoint here and generate the IDOC in W90. Okay, clear? Let me show you one relevant message type. No inbound A4H client 800. So let me add one inbound function module or inbound message type so that you can see how to find the inbound function module available for that message type. Let me configure matmas. Matmas is the material master data, right? Process code is MATM is the process code. Go to W20 partner profile and you can see the message type. Where is it? This one. Double click on the message type. Double click on the process code. This is the function module using for this matmas message type. This is the IDOC function module. So keep the breakpoint in this function module to debug the IDOC. Okay. So this function module will read the data from IDOC segments and so these are all the IDOC segments. So this will read the data from IDOC segments and post the data to SAP by using some BAPI or some function module, BAPI function module. Okay. Let me find, is there any BAPI calls in this? Okay, you can find it later, but this is how you can find the inbound function module available for the message type. You can keep a breakpoint here and you can debug the IDOC. Clear? So this is the same process. First to find out the inbound function module available, and then we have one more transaction code, right? For reprocessing, what is that? BD87.
87.
That this is to just reprocess the failed IDOCs. Okay? If some IDOC is failed, you can reprocess it. So it won't create a new IDOC. But in W19, every time it will generate one new IDOC, right? But here in W87, it won't generate a new IDOC, but it will just reprocess the existing IDOCs. Check this IDOC, execute. So you can just reprocess it, right? You can just reprocess it. It won't create a new IDOC. But before reprocessing, what you need to do? You need to fix all the data errors in your system. For example, if some master data is missing, for example, country key CA is missing, the IDOC won't process. Then first you need to create that master data and reprocess the IDOC. Process it. Which one? This one. Select this and reprocess. Breakpoint is triggered because at the time of reprocessing also, so for reprocessing also same IDOC is triggered, same IDOC function module is triggering, which is calling inside the IDOC function module, right? It did not reprocessed because again we got error, right? So BD87 is to reprocess. Usually remove the IDOC number and execute, and it will show all the IDOCs, all the failed IDOCs. Okay, in BD87 by message type. Okay, and if you want to reprocess any specific IDOC, select that message type and process. So I'm removing the breakpoint. It is triggering for every IDOC. So we processed all the failed IDOCs by that message type, bank create message type, but all of them are failed due to some data issue. You can see the error messages also, corresponding error messages also. Fill out all required fields. For these IDOCs, I will copy because I will give you these IDOC numbers with errors so that you can use these IDOC numbers to find the root cause of the issue. Right? This will just reprocess the existing IDOC. It won't create any new IDOC in BD87. Okay? It's a very important interview question. How to reprocess the IDOCs or how to debug the IDOCs. Two ways we have. We can use W19 by generating the new IDOC we can debug it, or in BD87 by reprocessing the same IDOC we can debug this. But in W19 we have a flexibility to change the data, IDOC data, and create the new IDOC. The new IDOC will contain the updated data. Okay, so that we can make sure what is the data we are missing. Right, we can populate the data and try again in W19. But in W87 we can reprocess only with the existing data. We cannot change the data. Okay, so reprocess will if the data issues are fixed, when you reprocess it, the IDOC will be in success status. Okay, clear? So you can reprocess the inbound IDOCs as well as outbound IDOCs, both in W87. Okay, is everyone clear? So these are the very important interview question: IDOC reprocessing and IDOC monitoring. So when you got an error in IDOC, this is how we need to troubleshoot. Okay, is everyone clear? So it is same for any message type. The process is same for any message type. Only message type will be different. The process is same. Okay. And to find the function module, inbound function module for the message type, where you need to check that. So you can check that in W42. That is the transaction code for process code. But the alternative is W20 partner profile. Go to the partner profile, select the message type, double click on the message type, go to process code, and double click on the process code, and it will give you the function module what is configured for that process code in W20 partner profile. Okay, clear? Also in W19 also you can check that inbound function module what is configured. If you go to standard inbound, it will show the function module name. Process code is BAPI. Clear? So this is the function module using for this message type. So you can keep a breakpoint in that message type, sorry, function module. Clear? So the assignment for you is to find the root cause of the error. Why the bank is not creating? What is the data we are missing? Tomorrow you guys have to update.